I put on big networking events, Erica. And one thing, I've been a sales master for 30 years, and I never apologize for being good at selling, because production minus sales equals scrap. But I put on these big networking events, and I am shocked at how few people really understand the need to make sales. They think they can just go to networking event after networking event and somehow magically money's going to appear, and it just doesn't happen. So when I recently saw an interview with you, and you were so smart, really common sense about, guys, you gotta face the fact you're gonna have to sell. So that's what I really, among other things, want to get from you, is kind of your little background and stories about, your recognition. You just have an understanding of making sales in your DNA. It's so natural to you, and you recognize so clearly that people really often don't recognize how important it is. So tell me a little bit about, where you are and how you got to where you are today.
Sure. Okay. Well, I have been in sales and business for over 30 years. I know I look so young, right? But I have been selling for a long time. I actually was very, very shy when I was a little girl, and I always felt less than. I grew up poor, I never really fit in. And when I discovered sales, I thought, oh my gosh, I'm really good at this. But it wasn't the act, like I wasn't trying to twist anyone's arm or anything like that. What I was doing was problem solving. And I was like, wow, all I had to do was ask very strategic questions to guide the person to saying yes to what it is I have, the solution. And at 16, I realized that's really all it is asking questions. So I went on to open other businesses. I did a lot of sales, men's clothing, cars, things like that. I've had a salon. I've had a restaurant. I was a leader in direct sales for 18 years. And now what I do is I help entrepreneurs and businesses to increase their sales fast in a non-pushy manner. And I teach this through pre-qualifying, attracting people to you, then pre-qualifying them. And I typically do that through what I call surveys to sell or feedback to close. So you get the person to tell you exactly what they're interested in. It's pretty genius, if I do say so myself. And then you just solve the problem. You show them, okay, they said they were very thirsty and they wanted to lose weight. Imagine this is weight loss water. So that would be the solution. It would be very easy. They're open to it. You're not twisting their arms. So that's how I help businesses now. And then I believe that once somebody, the transaction happens, the money changes hands, they become your client, not a customer. Your customer's one time. Who wants that? Not me, right? But a client, they're going to stay with you. So you want to treat them well and put them on automation. So you're staying front of mind to them. And all of this is non-pushy. It is basic common sense. But what you need to know is how to ask strategic questions and how many times you must follow up and reach out. Because like you said, I believe since the pandemic, they've realized this virtual world, like, you and I have been in this world. I've been doing this 9 years virtually. And all of a sudden the pandemic hits and people think they just have to show up on a Zoom or on Facebook and people are going to throw money at them. Well, maybe one or two will, but what about the 80 other people who you missed out on? You see, that's what I focus on. I focus on the people who didn't say yes, the people who said, no, not now. We never want to lose an opportunity. Can you even imagine, as you get goosebumps thinking about all the people who didn't say yes that we could reach back out to strategically and get them in our pipeline? I mean, imagine, oh my gosh, that makes me so excited.
You said a key word first about attracting clients. So let's start there. That's right at the get-go. So how does that, let's start at the beginning. Tell us a little bit about attracting clients.
So you want to be very careful on your social media pages, and you don't want to appear that you are selling. So you want to clean up your pages, make sure there's nothing controversial on there, number one, and you want to provide value. So people will come by you, scroll by or whatever, and they're nosy, like Mrs. Kravitz was, remember, on Bewitched, and you're going to attract them to you. You're going to say, oh, that was interesting. I never thought about that. So you are going to attract them to you. The other way I do this, now I know there's some people, and this works well for them, it just doesn't work for me. They will go onto social media, into groups, and they will become friends with people just to get them to have a call with them. See, I don't do that. I see when somebody says they have a struggle that my product is the solution to. I will then message them and say with a voice clip, hey, I saw that you said blah, blah, blah. I happen to have this, would you like some more details? So I'm waiting for them to bring it up. So that's how I do it, both of those ways.
Now, I've been able to sell for years by asking questions, but that was kind of the old school way of doing it. But now you've systematized it and really perfected the art of asking through a system. So what a delight. My mom always said to me, it never hurts to ask. And a lot of people don't. So, and I think some people are even afraid of asking. So let's talk about questions and talk about your really delightful attitude that you're really almost being rude if you don't follow up, and you're really giving them a blessing if you can really help them. So talk about that if you would a little.
Sure, absolutely. So I've created my now world-renowned blessing method as a systematic approach to doing business. It's 5 steps. And number 1 was attract. Number 2 is pre-qualify. And we do that through the art of asking questions. Now I'm going to give you a big tip here. The answer to any question that you ask must be your product or service. So don't ask questions that are not going to guide the person to you. Sometimes we just talk and talk and talk, and we actually talk people into the product and out of the product in the same sentence. So what I teach people to do is find out what their product does. What is the benefit, not to me, but to the actual client? People have a very hard time on this because they're so programmed to just like vomit information on. But when you ask them to break it down, they do struggle. And this is what I help people to do. Narrow it down almost to an elementary level so you can speak confidently, but in one sentence, what your product does. Then all you do is reverse it. So let's just say this was that weight loss water, right? So I wouldn't go on and say, who wants to lose weight? Who wants to lose weight, right? But maybe this water not only gives you weight loss, but it gives you energy. So I could say something like, what's the opposite of it gives you energy? Well, does somebody lack energy? Do you need more energy? Are you struggling to maintain that weight? You see, I didn't just push my products. I asked a simple question. And your mom is very smart. And that's what I tell my 2 children as well. It's always a no unless you ask. And just simply asking someone if this would benefit them. But I get a little shy. I know it's hard to believe. So for me, I do it through a systematic survey. So I call it market research, which is a good one, which is the truth. So I would send someone like yourself before we would ever talk, which I did have you fill out my survey, didn't I, Mike? And I asked you very strategic questions. So I knew before we got on the Zoom exactly what you were looking for. And I was very good. I didn't talk about anything else other than what you said you were interested in. There's something magical about a survey. I think you would agree is that you're taking that survey. And even though you knew it was coming to me, you're more open and honest to answer the questions. And then it's fabulous. And I know exactly what the person wants. We have a little chit chat. I close my sales at a very high rate and for more money because all I did was I blessed them. I focused on solving the problem that what? They said that they had. It's so easy. It's great for introverts and extroverts alike.
You said something really brilliant too about organizing the surveys. Don't ask questions that lead them to something you don't sell. It seems like common sense. You're not just out there to find out everything, but you're out there to find out what can you offer that they need and that you can help them with, right?
Exactly. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. Because so many times I'll talk to someone and I'll say, well, why did you ask that? I don't know. So it's just like we're almost afraid of bringing up our product that we fill in the void with all this extra chatter. And you know what it does? It detracts, it deflects away from what we're trying to do, which is if you believe in your product or service, it is truly to serve somebody. And selling is not a bad word. It's a magical, beautiful thing when it's done correctly.
Yeah, and it's really a blessing when you have something that you can provide a solution. To me, you have a way of kind of using it almost like judo. You take this negative thing and you just completely flip it around. In Buddhism, it's called turning poison into elixir. And you are able to turn a concern into a blessing that you really feel like you owe somebody, to help them if you have the solution that they really need. So how do you help people really recognize that and really come to grips with it, really confront it, first of all? Because if you can't look at it and see the problem, as they say, when you can face the problem, you cut it in half, you turn your back on it and it doubles. So right there, as soon as you face it with a solution, you've minimized the problem right away.
Exactly. And do you mean like for business owners, how do I get them to understand that they really need to pre-qualify?
Yes.
Okay, so this is the thing. If I were to say to you or to somebody else, right? So tell me all the people that you spoke to in the last 6 months about your product or service. And then they pick up their phone and they scroll. Well, that's not serving anyone, because what if you talk to them on LinkedIn? What if you talk to them somewhere else? There's no tracking. Okay. And what if I said to you, well, who said not now, maybe later? Where's that list? And they don't have it. So then if you start adding that up and you start thinking, who did I talk to 6 months ago? What happened to those people? Where are the not now, maybe later people? Or what about the people you only reached out to one time? Now we know it's going to take multiple reach outs, 5 or more typically before we hold that appointment. So where are all those people where we got a little nervous and we just didn't, keep reaching out to them? Well, if you add up your average sale per person, let's say it's $300, okay? And you just estimate how many people you spoke to in the last 6 months, multiply that by 300. Whoa, was that a lot of people? Well, that's a lot of money for your family and your community. But it's also a lot of people that you missed out on blessing, because you've got a fabulous product or service and we need to get it into their hands. So because I believe that business owners are a little bit nervous to bring up their product or service too many times, right? They drop the ball. And that's because they don't have my magic system. How many times do you need to reach out to? How many days do you need to wait in between? And what exactly do you say each time? Now, like I said, I've been working virtually for 9 years. So I figured out exactly what the formula is and what you have to say and how you have to reach out. And if you start following this systematically, as you said, you're going to see results. It's when you just reach out 1 or 2 times and let all that doubt come in your head. Oh, they don't like me. They're judging me. And turn it around to say, wow, I really want to bless their business. I really want to bless them. It makes a world of a difference.
Now, let's help people who are sitting in a seat in a Zoom meeting, okay? And they don't quite know how to get started, to get the ball rolling. So take them through step by step, going from what they're doing now, which is not really bringing them much result, to what they can do to start to turn that around step by step. First thing, how do you immediately grab attention? How do you get somebody to be attracted to your survey, to taking it? And then we'll talk more about the survey as we go through this.
Sure. Well, number one would be to create that survey. Okay. So you have that. You're going to change your social media links so that instead of your website, it's going to be your survey, because there's no need to send people to a website to buy something when they don't even know what they need. You are the best person to tell them what they need. So first, we're going to change that. Okay. And then let's say we're in a networking Zoom event, right? And you've met a lot of people. I would say to you, reach back out to them, save that chat or someone that you met and you're friendly with, and say, I'm doing market research, or I'm currently doing market research on XYZ. I would love to get your opinion, and I'll even give you a gift card. And would it be okay to send you the link? Person says yes. You send them the survey link. Boom. They filled it out. Number one, that means they're interested. They wouldn't have filled it out if they're not. Number two, you have the data. You know how to reach them. You know what they want. Number three, you book the appointment. Or if your model, I teach educational selling where I'm problem solving. If your model is not that way, then you would send them a video or something else, right? But in my model, I would then book the appointment. We would have the appointment and I would close the sale. It is that simple. And all you do is keep repeating the same process.
As they say, repeat until rich, huh?
Yes.
Now, tell me, who can you serve best? Can you help financial planners, or help me kind of understand your ideal prospect?
Yes, absolutely. So anybody who has a product or service, okay, so I know most people niche it down, but the reality is anybody who has a product or service. Now, this would work best for someone who maybe not a pizza parlor, right? But it could work for like a service base, a bridal salon, a hair salon, a spa. It would work for, financial planners, life insurance, realtors, anybody who's got a product or service. That's versus more of a fast food place, because you really don't need to know because what they're interested in, because they're buying a burger or a pizza, right? But somebody who you really want to serve and problem solve with, that is exactly who it would be. So we've got many people who real estate agents, like I said, life insurance, financial planners, because it's hard for people to bring up money to somebody else. So this way, the financial planner could have that strategic survey. Now they know all of the information about the person and what they're interested in, right? The financial numbers before they have a chit chat. It's perfect. Same thing with real estate. Even a car salesperson, I was one, and I watched all these other people roam around the lot. Not me. They walked in, they sat down, we did the survey. And that was paper versus digital. And I knew what they wanted, showed them 2 cars, sold it. So if you want to shorten up your sales process, if you want to sell more products through serving, this is for you.
Now, one of the things that you also have pointed out is that you're able to help businesses find often overlooked areas to increase sales and client retention. How does that work?
So a lot of times, as I said, people don't follow up. They don't reach back out. They take the person's money. They're so excited they got the client, and then boom, they just assume that they loved them and they will be back. Well, we have to do our own work on the back end. We need to, as business owners, continually reach out to the people who purchase our products or service, and we must be strategic about it. It cannot always be to sell something. And that's where I think a lot of people miss the mark. They're like sending gifts that are all branded to their company name versus thinking of that person who purchased from them. They're sending them coupons and discounts, but they're never saying, I appreciate you. So we have to tweak the way we are reaching out to our clients, and we have to let them know how much we appreciate them. Let me tell you, I implemented a Valentine's program, and I sold 7 times as much as I normally did. It wasn't a coupon. It was, you're the heartbeat of my business. And I couldn't even believe it. But just those little details that we overlook, we think, oh, Black Friday, let me just have a sale. What about Thanksgiving and being thankful, right? So those are the areas that the follow-up, how many times, what about after the sale? How many people have followed up to make sure the person's using the product, using it correctly, is happy? See, we're afraid to find out maybe they don't like it. But you know what? I'd much rather know if they didn't use it so I can help them, right? If they didn't like it, well, I need to know so I can make it better. So we should stop being afraid, start embracing and be grateful for the people who have said yes to our product, our service, or our opportunity.
There's additional benefits to your program than making money, such as saving time, being more organized, not spinning your wheels. Let's talk a little bit about the lifestyle of being organized.
Oh my gosh. Well, number one, there's something that's very heavy when we're not organized. We have all the papers. We don't know who to reach out to. It's so heavy that, you know what we do? We do nothing, right? So knowing exactly where your clients are, where are your prospects, knowing where you are in the conversation at a moment's notice, it takes this heaviness away. Imagine you could go on that vacation, right? You could pull up your sheet and know exactly who to talk to, who you can wait for 2 weeks to do. What about knowing that it's not based on emotion? Oftentimes as business owners, we wait to see if we're having a good day or the weather's great or whatever, and that's when we are going to follow up. That's really unfair to your client or your prospects for them to have to wait till you're having a good hair day or, being in a good mood. You see, my system, my blessing method, it takes all the emotion out of it. It's not about me. It's about serving. So just removing that anxiety of not knowing what to say, having someone tell you what they want, that's a big thing. And everything is in one area. You're not scrambling. It's just, it really takes a lot of time or a lot of emotion out of it, shall I say. I'm a mom of 2. My husband travels all the time. And if I was scrambling, which I have had times in my business where I stopped doing my own system, which was crazy, I get swayed. And then I'm like, I can't even follow up. I'm hiding from people in the grocery store because I know I was supposed to message them. It's so stressful. I'm never going to stop doing my own system again. I'm organized. I know what to say, when to say it. I do a lot on automation. My text, my emails, my mailings, it's all on automation. I'm going to a vacation for 2 weeks. I'm having a big sale. It's all on automation. I'm going to be enjoying the sand in my toes while my business runs.
So let's address that for a second, because you are a unique, empowered woman, a very busy, empowered woman, and the world has changed. So how have you been able to be a leader for other empowered ladies and helping them set up a system that will give them the lifestyle that they want, not just more income, but being able to spend time with the family and really the quality time with the kids? You've been able to do it. And how do you like being a leader? What would you say to other ladies that really want to follow in your footsteps?
I would say that when you look at the daily activities that you must do, look and see if there's a way to automate it. Is there somebody else who could clean your home? Is there someone else who could do the grocery shopping? Actually, I empowered my husband. He is now the chef. Yay. But are there other people? Because yes, you're great at things, but other people should have the opportunity to be great at them as well. Empower your kids to do things. But the other thing is, if you're having an event, maybe it's an online event, right? There's a lot that goes into it. The reach outs, the marketing, the text and everything. If you are the one who's texting each person, that's crazy. That takes too much time. Sending a text message out one time that goes to everyone, but get this, they don't even know. They think it's just to them. It says their name on it. You know how many hours that'll take away, right? Sending out emails in advance, all of these things you could do while you're laying in bed. You put the kids to bed and you're laying in there and you set up your automation. You don't have to do it all like one by one, because that's going to suck up all your time. And let me tell you, for the people who have chosen, right, in my life to not listen to the automation, they're the ones who are burnt out. They're the ones who are missing out on going to the ball games. They're the ones who are exhausted. And when all those things are happening, you're not your best self. And people can see that. And people are not going to want to buy from you when you look exhausted. They want your lifestyle. And I wouldn't want to be exhausted. And you'll never hear me say, I don't have time. I never say that, because I have a lot of free time and I've got 3 thriving businesses. The automation and the strategy, those are key.
Now, the other thing that is also key, because you've also mentioned about marketing and psychology in the questionnaires. So these are not, as you said, just questionnaires, fill in the blanks, but there's a lot of thinking goes in, and you've got years of experience with this in particular. So tell us how you help people, let's say a financial planner, develop all of the right questions for them that include the psychology and the strategy. How's that work?
Yes, absolutely. It is psychology and marketing. Even to where you place the name and email, where you ask these are critical. So if it was a financial planner, and let's say maybe I was working one-on-one, or if they took my course that's already pre-made, I teach you exactly how to ask the questions. I call them cue cards. We make little flashcards because it's easier, okay? And you're going to write down the benefits of your product. And as I said, people get tripped up on this. So we really niche it down. They're able to create these surveys fast, in less than 1 hour. And what the survey does is it guides that prospect on a fast journey. So when they're done filling out this survey, they're so excited because they were just pointed out problems they didn't even know that they have. But now they're like, oh my gosh, I have that. I have that. What's the solution? They are so eager to find out how you can fix this problem for them. So now they want to have an appointment with you. But going back to those questions, we would write out your little index card or however you want to do it. But you have to know the benefit to the other person of why they need this product or service. You can't just say, are you in debt? Or do you have $1 million this? Do you have it? Like, you can't say it like that. It must be worded in a way that's going to create the response that you want, which is, I need X, Y, Z. So I don't want to give my whole formula away,
Let's talk about how they can access it, because you have a formula that has templates. It's so perfected. It's been so worked on for so long. So let's talk about how can people access it? How do they get started? And do they have to wait for a boot camp, or help us to understand the next step?
Yeah, so absolutely. So I do have a boot camp. So it gives you 6 days access, or you can have lifetime access. And I take you through my recipe, which is my blessing method. Attract, pre-qualify, present, referrals. We didn't touch on that. Imagine getting very high quality referrals from every person. And then the automation and retention. So I take you on this journey. So you get little tidbits of it, action steps that you can do every single day. So that's my boot camp. Now, if you're really ready to increase those sales, you know that when you did your average per person, it's not what it should be, or you want it to be higher. I would recommend my sales school. So Simply Sales School is really going to teach you the art of selling. I'm going to break down everything, how to craft those strategic questions, how to get the referrals every single time, how to keep these clients engaged with the automation, the retention, how exactly do you attract people to you. So if you want the full thing, that would be where to go. And if you're like, you know what, Erica, all that sounds great, just teach me the surveys. Okay, I do have a pre-made course. And like I said, in less than 1 hour, you can create your strategic surveys to sell, your feedback to close. I'm talking, you never speak to someone unless they fill out a survey. This is your registration, your feedback form before you hop on the Zoom. That's the thing nowadays, right? Let me send you my calendar link. That's what people do. And then they get on the Zoom and they don't even know what the problem is the person, needs to be solved. So you need to have these in advance. But I do want to caution you. You could take my survey course, but if you don't know how to wrap them into selling, you're not going to have the best results. So they really do go hand in hand. Now, I do have a membership portal where all of the videos are housed. You have instant access. I have a Facebook community, so you have other people that you can, bounce ideas off of as well. So it's basically like a la carte. You choose your journey, because after all, it is your journey, right? And you want to live the best life. What I have to say, though, is, and I hope this is not a trigger for anyone, but I was caring for my mom for 3 to 5 doctor's appointments a week for 3 years. If my business would not have been on automation, I couldn't have kept my business afloat. We've got the world of Corona now. God forbid someone in your family or you get sick. How is your business going to pay your bills? The other thing is, I lived in that world of fear of judgment, fear of what will people think. I don't want to be a bother. But as I was watching my mom pass away, I looked at her and immediately I thought, none of this fear matters. It doesn't matter what anyone thinks of me. What matters is I have a gift and I need to get it out to the world. And so do you. You have a business that other people need to hear about. And if you keep waiting for the best time to lose weight, to grow taller, to get married, to get divorced, for the kids to grow up, to have a baby, it's not going to happen. Life will get in the way. You need to do it today. You need to do it now. And you need to make that life, that lifestyle that you want, because our dash is so short. And I believe we all need to step into our greatness. If I can shorten your learning curve and give you that automation, oh my gosh, you'll spend less time on Zooms. Take a 50-minute, hour-long Zoom and make it 15 minutes. Be strategic. And oh my gosh, imagine all of the extra free time you would have. So that's what I give to everybody.
I appreciate that. Now, one final thing that I'd like you to do is to address the person that has gone to a lot of Zoom meetings, and they literally have said to me, well, I just need to go to more Zoom meetings. And I've explained that's kind of the definition of insanity. Keep doing the same thing, you think you'll get a different result. So what can you say to that person to kind of get them to face the reality that they need to make the change?
Yeah. So let me ask this, though. Are they going to the Zoom meetings because they are trying to prospect there, or what are they doing at the Zoom meeting?
That's what they're going for. They think they just go meet a few more people and they'll meet the right person, or somehow they'll get to know them over a long time. Maybe, well, if I just keep doing this for 2 or 3 years, maybe somebody will like me enough to hire me. I don't know what they're thinking, honestly.
Oh, goodness. Okay. So that's almost the equivalent of like a boy and a girl at the high school dance, right? And he's too shy to talk to her, right? He watches her all night. Then he watches her, the other times in school. And then she goes off to college and gets married, and he never approached her, right? And then 60 years later, they see each other again. And she's like, I always liked you. And he's like, why didn't you tell me? She's like, why didn't you tell me? Somebody's got to make the first move. So if you're going to Zoom after Zoom and you're just waiting in the corner for someone to say, I want your product or service, it won't happen, because they don't know the problem that you solve. They don't see you as the solution. You could go there and for 20 years and it's not going to change anything unless you change your approach. So imagine the next Zoom meeting you go to, as I said, you have them fill out your survey. Now you know if it's going to be a good fit. This is the thing. If they don't want to fill out your survey, number one, it's not a good fit, because you're chasing someone who's not even interested in making a shift in their business. So number one, if they don't fill it out, that's okay. You're weeding the people out. They do fill it out. Okay, they are raising their hand. I am interested. Now, have a little chit chat with them, present the solution, and close the sale. That means the money changes hands. How fast was that, right? But otherwise, you're just wasting time in this era of we need to be on Zoom, Zoom, Zoom. Well, we don't need to be on Zoom unless we find out if these people are interested. Now, if you're at a networking event, that's all the more reason to say to the person, oh my gosh, I'd love to learn more about your business to see if we would be a good fit. Would you mind filling out my business survey? Now they filled it out. They're going to tell you all about them, but you were strategic in those questions. You planted questions in there to find out how you could serve them. Now you get the survey. Guess what? Now you may have a Zoom. You have permission to have a Zoom. And what happens? You close the sale. So it's always the same process. Survey, presentation, close the sale, referrals, automation, retention. And you've got a business that runs like a machine, and it's fast.
Erica V., everybody on Zoom needs to get you into their life and into their business ASAP. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you, Mike.